So we want to have a conversation around that. And we have in the studio Mrs. Grace Oyakire. She is a registered nurse, a registered midwife, a health educator. Thank you very much for joining us, Mrs. Oyakire.
Thank you, Ruth.
All right. It is the International Day for, midwife. How significant is this day for the midwives, the registered midwives, and also for motherhood?
Today, the 5th of May, every year, has been earmarked for the International Day of the Midwife. This is because of the work that the midwife has done, and which is as old as humanity. The midwives are actually very skilled. Maybe I should even start by defining who the midwife is, because that will help us to put so many things, right. A midwife is a person that has gone through a training, and this training is it goes with a kind of a prescribed competencies, and these competencies are given by the ICM. ICM is International Confederation of Midwives in Huge. These competencies are laid down and followed according to various countries and are given to training schools that are used in teaching such a person. And then such a one should have also graduated from such school and is given a recognition by the council of that country. And the person will have attached to the name ROM. The person will be licensed to practice in that country, in a particular country. It could be that the person was trained in another country, but if you want to practice in another country where you were not trained, you have to, go through some other essential training in the country where you want to practice, and then before you can practice.
Okay.
And by and by, the person now have, grow to have competency in midwifery.
I like your choice of word, incompetence, because I'm sure you're aware, Mrs. Oyakire, they are quacks. And which is why a lot of people don't believe that the midwives, are modern or educated or have, that knowledge to handle childbirth. A lot of midwives, from cases reported, this old generation of our mothers passing down the skills, to the next generation. So some of them don't really go through the right practice. How would you respond to that?
Beautiful. In our profession, we have quacks. It's not different from what you have in nursing and midwifery. As long as you have not gone through the training, even if you are a nurse and you've not gone through the midwifery courses, you are not a midwife. And you cannot practice midwifery. If you do that, you are going against the law. The midwife has been exposed to certain things, certain practices, certain attitude. If you see the midwife that has been trained, her attitude differs from the one that is not, from the quack. A quack is somebody, I don't know who teaches them. Some of them are being taught by quacks themselves, because they never had that opportunity to have these essential competencies downloaded to them through any training, and they were not licensed. I remember sometimes in Lagos, a lady, supposed nurse, they said she was a nurse and she was busy swapping babies for people. When they went to the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to check, she was not registered. So a midwife is not just somebody that wears the white or wears a uniform. A midwife has to go through the training. A midwife has to, be compassionate. She has to have that care. She has to communicate. She has to be able to know, to have a versatile skill, which she has been taught, in the school. And with that, she will be able to reduce maternal mortality rate Without that, what we call quacks, they are just there to increase maternal mortality rate. I am not surprised that in most countries, the maternal mortality rate is rising, like in Nigeria.
So, Mrs. Oyakire,
yes,
if you're aware, if the council is aware that there are quacks in the system, what are they doing to fish out these quacks? Because lives are involved, and a lot of people, when they see the easy way, maybe there's a midwife in the area and they can't afford to pay medical bills in the hospital, they just opt for that option.
Yes.
So what is the council doing to address this?
Thank you very much, Ruth. It's not just the council that is handling the putting the corrective measures. The council has a legal unit that handles that. For instance, in each state, the state has a kind of a monitoring unit, like FCT has a monitoring unit. It's called what do you call it now? FEMC. You know, they go about from hospital to hospital, checking to ensure that the nurses or midwives that work in such hospitals are registered with the council. And that's what council does too. In bigger establishment, the council goes about doing that. If there's a report that a particular hospital is operating with quacks, quack nurses, quack midwives, the council come into it and they arrest them. They close down such hospitals. It's not allowed.
So, and we get to see this maternal mortality rate more in rural areas, even in the urban centers. What message do you have for mothers out there, to seek the right and appropriate medical care while also speaking to the midwives to make their prices, that's for those, and there's a question from my producer, the affordability, because some of them, the ones who are registered, they charge very high. She shared her experience with me. So
beautiful. Ruth, just yesterday I was discussing with some people and I asked them, some of, Nigeria operates the 3 tiers of health, the primary, secondary, and the tertiary, and all these ones, their prices differ. And they are very close to the people. And that's what is also obtainable even outside this country. The primary health care setting, sorry to say they're on strike right now, but those people are doing well. I have had cause to work with them at one point or the other. They are the one closer to the people. I was talking with one of them yesterday, and she said to register for antenatal is just 2,500, and the delivery is 10,000. And then visitation, when you come to visit, small money is collected from you. That is at the primary health care center, which is closer to the common person. At the secondary health center, also I spoke with another person yesterday, just before I came, and their bills to antenatal is about 50,000. They said they just increase it because of what is happening, worldwide. So the prices differ. There are levels you can go to depending on who you are, on your financial strength. So please, I want to use this opportunity to beg our mothers, because you are precious to us. Try as much as possible, come to the right place. Go to the primary health care center close to you. Go to the hospitals close to you in all levels. And then we have private hospitals too that are indeed, they employ nurses that are registered. They are there. You could walk in there to see them. Because no private hospital that is approved in certain areas, like in FCT, I work in FCT, so I knew all these ones. They cannot operate with quacks. Okay. Those ones operating with quacks are hiding to do that. Don't go to them. Love your life. Don't go to them. And I will also say that the government should, as much as possible, try to support. In fact, I should thank them for all the support so far, for them to put all these structures, all these tiers on ground, that if you cannot go to primary, you go to secondary, you go to tertiary, if you are referred.
Mrs. Grace Oyakire, we'll continue to, lend our voices for the advocacy, because lives are precious, especially for that innocent child that didn't ask to be born. Thank you very much for coming on Panorama.
Thank you.